right, guys, I just wanted to show you quickly. We will be making lamb chops today. I did buy this in a whole rack like this. I kind of trimmed off the fat, but you do want to keep some fat on. And all you do is just take your knife and run it down the middle like this. And just make sure your knife is nice and sharp. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of them, then I'll come back and show you what I do next. All right, guys, I don't have any rights to the song in the background. My husband is jamming on today. We have them nice cut up. They're clean. You know, we from the island, we like to clean our meat, so I did rinse them off with some lime juice and a little bit of vinegar. Just kind of wash it off just a little bit, not too much, and then rinse it off with cold water. So now what I will be doing is just adding the season to my lamb chops. So what I put in here was just a little bit of salt, some seasoned salt, some onion powder, garlic powder, and just a little bit of rosemary, because I didn't have the fresh, so I did add some dry rosemary. And you do understand when you're using dry herbs, it's a little bit more potent, so you don't want to put too much in there so it won't overpower your dish. So I'm just going to take a handful like this and just sprinkle it nicely, because we want our meat, every part of this, to be seasoned. And what we do to the one side, we're going to flip it over and do it to the other side. Make sure everything is nicely covered. Okay, be generous, because we want to make sure it's nice and flavorful. Okay, make sure every bit is covered, and then I'm gonna come back with some fresh ground black pepper like this. I'm gonna flip it, do the other side, and I'm gonna come back. I have seasoned both sides of our lamb chop, so what I wanted to go ahead and do is start prepping my asparagus. I did use some black, cracked black pepper. So we went ahead and did that. And also what I will be adding to this is just some regular salt, just a little pinch of salt, nothing too big. And then to that, I don't have someone to hold this, so this is why it's so shaky, but we're gonna work with what we have. Then just drizzle just a little bit of olive oil like that. You don't want too much olive oil on there. You don't want it too oily. And then we're just gonna go ahead, use your clean hands, people, clean hands. And then kind of just massage it, making sure the salt is evenly distributed, and also making sure the pepper and the oil. And then we're gonna just realign it back, and I have my oven preheating at 250, and right when my lamb chops are almost done, I'm gonna go ahead and stick them in the. All right, guys, what I did is I added to my cast iron skillet, I added some oil and then just a little bit of butter. Okay, so I'm gonna let my butter melt. Okay, and we're gonna let this get, and the reason I'm not just using butter all the way, because I wanted to get a nice sear on both sides, and we don't want our butter to burn, so I just add just some oil just to kind of balance things out. Okay, so we're gonna wait till it gets nice and hot, and once it's hot, then I'm gonna place my lamb chops in here. And now we're gonna put in our lamb chops. I'm trying to make room to make sure I get every piece in here. And what we're doing is searing it. We're making sure we're getting a nice color. I'm trying to make sure all the way around that I get a nice browning. Okay? Once I sear it on one side, I'm going to go ahead and flip it on the other side, but I'll come back and just show you what it'll look like. All right, guys, I did flip them over. Just wanted you to see how nice they look. Have like a nice sear on them too. Okay, so we're filling in all of that nice flavor that we put on here. So I'm going to let it color on the other side, sear for a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to take it out and make our sauce. I've browned both sides, but I want to make sure that the edges are brown too, and this part will not be able to lay flat in your pan. So what I'm going to do is just throw some oil on it like this, which will help it cook. Some hot oil. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I want you to see one of them. They're almost cooked. Look at this, guys. Okay. So I'm going to take them out and then I'm going to come back and show you how I make my sauce. I took out our lamb chops. They are looking beautiful, guys. So what I did was I removed some of the oil that was in here. And now I let the pan kind of cool down because I didn't want any smoke all over the place. So now what we're going to do is create our mushroom red wine sauce. So to our pan, I'm going to add some chopped onions, and I have a little bit of garlic in here as well. And I will be using these Baby Bella, the organic ones, of course. So what I did was I just sliced them, washed them. Well, not washed them. I took a nice rag, wet rag, and cleaned them off, removing the dirt. And now we're going to add these here. So what I'm going to do is just let them cook for maybe about a couple of minutes. And once they cook, I'm going to come back and show you how to make the sauce. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some chicken broth. I'm sorry, not chicken, but beef broth. And you can add any beef broth of your choice. Okay, so that's going to help it deglaze a little bit. And just add just a little bit more. And then to that, I'm going to add some red wine. Any red wine of your choice. If it's something that you like to drink, as long as you enjoy drinking it, you can cook with it. Oh my God, I wish you guys can smell this deliciousness. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it cook just for a few seconds so we can let all the alcohol get out of our sauce. And then also I'm going to add just a pinch of rosemary, the dry rosemary, like I told you. Make sure you taste it to make sure. I'm going to turn my stove down a little bit. And to that, I will add, just to finish it off, I'm going to add just a little bit of butter. And you could taste it if you see that it needs, let's say, some salt. Then you can go ahead, but I'm going to let this reduce just a little bit here. And then whatever's missing, you can add some salt and a little bit of pepper. And in the end, I'm just going to add some butter and we should be fine. So let me let this reduce for about maybe a minute, and then I'll come back. Sauce, it has reduced. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is turn our stove off. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our butter in like this. And then our sauce is finished. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I plate this in a few seconds. And let me mention this to you also. As you let your sauce reduce, you'll notice it's going to have a little thick consistency. But if you want it a little thicker, what you could do is add a what we call a roux. You can make a roux with cornstarch, or you can make it with some all-purpose flour. But in my case, I like the consistency. It's not too liquidy and it's not too thick, so this is perfect. But if yours is too liquidy, just go ahead and add some water to some flour or some cornstarch, starch, and then just add maybe like a half a teaspoon, stir it in until you like the consistency, and then you're good to go. I'll come back and show you what I do next. I want to show you the fabulous lamb chop. It is delicious, y'all. Nice and tender, very, very tasty, so easy to make. You don't have to go to the restaurant. You can make it at home, and your whole family can enjoy lamb chops, guys. Until next time, please like, comment, and do not forget to subscribe.